And we are live coming to you from the dirty South, Winston-Salem, North Carolina. We already got Battery. Hitman, what's up, brother? Hodges. So another crazy Sunday, another crazy week, another crazy weekend in the books. Last one for 2024. I get a little excited. I tell you, I get down in the winter, but January 1st comes around, just seems like getting closer to baseball, warmer weather. Yeah, we've got 2 more months of cold, rainy weather here. I know it's wintry, blasting rest of the country. Uh, we're just closer to baseball. It makes me feel so much. Whew. And I'm listening from the clean South. Well, if you're in Atlanta, we know that ain't too clean. That's more nasty over there. What's up, Jeff? Yeah, well, in the hockey season, we got Jeff here. I just feel a little bit better today. Took a good sleep again. I can't call it a nap when you sleep multiple hours in the afternoon. Hitman, you're in a. We'll talk to you in the midsummer where you're, 100 degrees with all that humidity down there. But glad to see you on the show. You're more than welcome. Come on, Hitman. I sent the group a link. Always invited. What's up, Joe? Yeah, college playoffs. I hope the second round is better than the first, just because I can hear all the people stop with all the first round stuff. It's not about having the first round being exciting at all. It's about letting teams have an attempt to have a chance. I feel like you win if you're in D1 and you win your conference, you should be in the playoffs. I don't care what power ranking you are. What the hell? It's the only league in any sport. Like starting in Little League on up, you win your conference, you don't get to go to the playoffs, or it's ridiculous. It's money driven. The bowl games. If you want to talk about something that's dumb, is all these bowl games are still happening. If you want to have national championship, you need to include the nation, not just the SEC. Exactly, Paul. I agree with you 100%. But it seems like they keep setting it up for the SEC. Pretty soon, the whole D1 is going to be SEC. What's up, Paul C. from Great White North? Great turnout already tonight. Thank you for coming by, stopping by, saying hi. Please, hit the like button and all that jazz. If you're not subscribed, please do. And I think everybody here is. Only 3 teams from the SEC in the playoffs. Yeah. But it's just how many are in other conferences or in the Pop-Tarts Bowl's the only bowl record. Yeah, I saw that. Is this the first year of that? Because I was like, I've never heard of the Pop-Tart Bowl. If I did, as a fat kid, that'd have been the one bowl I watched. We have the Duke's Mayonnaise Bowl, which I haven't heard anything of this year. I haven't. But then again, I haven't been paying much attention to that. Bowl season comes around. A lot of players don't play in it. Whoever wins the SEC should declare themselves no. Yeah, Zach, you want to start? Yeah, I know. Snoop Dogg in a bowl. You have enough money, you can have a bowl game, or at least put your name on it, and somebody else pay up. Snoop's probably smart like that. Somebody else probably put the money up, and he just put his name on it. He's pretty savvy when it comes to that type of a game. So a lot of bowl games, but the playoffs. When did the playoffs resume? Battery? Is it Wednesday? I mean, it seems like it seems right. The 31st and 1st. I just, all this D1 really, I like lower level football just because of the playoff system. And it seems like in the, the bowl championship, not bowl, but the championship series. 31st and 1st is what I thought. I I don't care if it's North Dakota State every year. It was JMU, North Dakota State, um, but it's still teams have a chance. You're playing for something, these teams that are in this non power. What are they playing for? Are they playing for a conference championship? And then thanks for coming out. We'll put you in the Pop Tart Bowl. I mean, Paul, the SEC wants to have their cake and eat it too. They want all their awesome games, but zero consequences if you lose. I don't know about that, Paul, but yeah, I don't know if the SEC controls the bowls or the playoffs. I just think if it comes down to certain teams, and it's not just the SEC, but if Ohio State or one of these teams, Michigan, if a team that's known to travel well, Penn State, they're going to have the upper hand when it comes to being chosen for the playoff system. When it comes to that, and we've seen it in the past. Virginia Tech used to be like that because they travel well. Just some schools are known for that. I work for T-Mobile. Every time they make cuts, I say we're going to pay Mahomes and Snoop Dogg for those commercials. Yeah. Let's see. There's many issues. If you're SEC, why would you ever schedule a tough non-conference game? I agree, but there's not. SEC is not the only league that does that. I mean, all the big. That's the problem with the big school having any type. We've seen it in the past with Central Florida, with Idaho or Boise State. I mean, the Oregon back in the day when teams start getting any traction. University of Ohio back when Roethlisberger was there, Marshall when they were really being with Pennington and all those, and Moss. If a team starts having any traction, Fresno State, San Diego State, I've seen it all in the past. Bigger schools do not want to play you because there is no benefit for it. There's a lose-lose situation there. Look what App State has done in the past. If they come up and beat you or have a good outing, it hurts you. And then if you win, you can't win by enough. So there's no win for a big school. There's only a negative. Then, for the small school, even, they want to make a name for themselves at that point. Yeah, they want a payday, but they want to make a name for themselves so they can launch themselves in the big picture. And we know that doesn't happen over 1 year. Those schools have to have these dominant programs. And now with NIL money, you got the Ohio State professional football team up there. And other schools giving a lot of NIL. But also I feel like the NIL is helping smaller schools that have a good booster program help as well. Virginia doesn't have that. Virginia is more of you go there, you graduate, you don't have to worry about anything for the rest of your life. But, some of these schools that have a great booster program for their sports, a little different. Big Ten and SEC want 4 guaranteed spots going forward. They're trying to flex their authority. When FSU got F, most of us went, just FSU fans. This year, more fans are catching onto the BS. Yeah. Cake Bowl. Yeah, I got you, Paul. Yeah, it's different now. Boise State gets good. A big school with NIL would take all their players. Yeah. And that's what's happening. The portals, all this stuff. You're seeing college coaches quit. You're seeing professional coaches come to schools now because it's going to be worked just like a professional program. You're going to have X money to work with, and now you're going to have professional coaches coming in and you know how to work the system. and know how to recruit, and they know how to get free agents to come to their team, right? We're going to see that at UNC. We're already hearing rumblings who's going to transfer there. So we'll see. What's up, Yannick? Evening, guys. I vote for the Poutine Bowl name change for the CFL Grey Cup. There you go. Y'all are just making me hungry tonight. I just ate some chicken and vegetables, and now y'all are making me hungry. College coaches actually prefer the NFL at this point. At least your Devo wide receivers has a contract until the NCAA approves payroll checks from the school to players. This will remain. What's up, Omari? Yeah, so they went right into this NIL with a thought of how it would work, and it is just, I think, way out of control. What do you do now? It's going to be hard to get that toothpaste back in the tube, but I think there was good football this year, some good matchups, some good, game, upsets. I'll use my words eventually, but I don't know going forward if once this NIL money starts having more building blocks, it's going to be tough to get the big money out. It's going to be. I just keep that to myself. The NCAA dragged their feet for too long and got lawyered into submission. Exactly. If you go to a big school or you've been around a big school, I was lucky enough to actually during Virginia Tech's peak, at the beginning of their peak, I should say, I was there. I got to see firsthand. They are actually a full-time job while going to school full-time. They use their name. They use the players' likenesses. They use everything about those players, and the players get an education. And I hear that all the time. Yes, they get an education. But, the person that goes there under a band scholarship or a scholarship for grades or anything else can get a job, can work and make money for themselves, at least play money. And that's the thing is that we're not talking about play money. I think they should have had a cap on NIL. I don't know how you hope schools can self-regulate that. I don't know. Do the best you can. But, yeah, you can't do much when other schools have more money. Transfer portal is the issue. Give them NIL, but make them sign multi-year contracts. That's not a bad idea, Zach. It should have stopped in a NIL and able to accept endorsement and pursue entrepreneurship independent of school. Well, they can do that too, Amari. I mean, Juju Smith's got one of the most lucrative female Nike contracts out there, if not the most lucrative. I think she still has the highest paid one. Caitlin and some other ladies had Gatorade still. You'll see this new group is women's I love Caitlin. Got me into women's basketball. They can say all they want to, badmouth her. I'm a person because of her watch women's basketball. In 2024, that's one thing in 2024. But I don't watch it like I do baseball, of course. I am very ignorant when it comes to in-depth stuff about it, but, I'm ignorant on a lot of things, to tell you the truth. I just sleep in a Holiday Inn Express. They can't sign contracts until they approve payroll. That's one of the issues. Yeah, well, there's all kinds of issues. I mean, we can nitpick this till the sun comes home. My thing, let's talk about cards. Bowman U. Okay, this is a crazy thing. I'm not huge on it. The only thing I really like about it is, like, in football and basketball, we don't have a Bowman's first. So that's kind of taking the place of it. And I do like college. I am a college uniform guy. I like college uniforms. I like seeing players in their college uniforms. Uh, I don't have a problem with that. Uh, I don't. I kind of like the Bowman U, but there's got to. It's not the rookie card. We want to call first cards. I've seen all of it, but it is a first card, and it is a card of, But how far back? I don't want to see high school cards. I don't want to see other stuff, but we need to get the Mets owner excited about his alma mater. Need to cut into his payroll. Is he from Georgia? I guess he's from Georgia. I'm guessing he's from Georgia. But I don't. We haven't spent enough yet, Barry. We need one more. We need one more hitter. We need a guy to protect. Well, Soto is a two hitter. He has turned into a two hitter. He did it with San Diego. He's kind of like that with Washington. And now he's really like that with the after Yankees. He just gets so many walks and he puts the ball in play a lot more than other players. He's really a strong number two. He's not a 3 or a 4. So if we use him that way, that's going to be not good. I think he'll be a 2 and Lindor will be the 3. And we need somebody in that 4 spot. And Ventos might be the guy. I hope he continues on from last year. But, how do y'all feel about Bowman U? I'm on a fence. Sometimes I get like, what are we doing? But then I come back and I'm like, well, for other sports, we don't have the baseball first card. And I kind of like Bowman first. It's gotten stupid. I don't care about the pricing. The pricing to me is just stupid. To speculate on a guy that might not even sniff the pros. At least in other sports, you kind of know, right? They're going to get drafted high. They got a really high chance of succeeding. If they fail, they fail, especially football quarterbacks. But, basketball, things like that, we kind of know, right? I mean, in basketball, I don't really watch men's at all, but I know the names. I hear the names for the most part. And if I went to buy something, I'm not, first off, I wouldn't buy anything, but I would contact the basketball guy. Same thing with football, but baseball's a little bit different monster. If you're not watching the top 100 or watching constantly, it's tough. And I think that's why people tend to stay away from, I've even thought baseball sometimes can be scary if you're collecting and you're really harping on value. Could be scary because you don't know, if you're trying to buy young players and you just don't know what their future holds. I can understand that fear where buying the vintage, what they've done. At least Bowman U has the college logos on them. It was weird when everything was airbrushed. Right. Well, Fanatics has, I believe, I don't know if there's a college out there Fanatics doesn't have a contract with. So it just seems like a marriage that was just waiting. But, and I've learned to understand a lot more of that this in 2024. Trying to tie this all into 2024. This year, I've really learned why people might just gravitate to only doing vintage, because if they're looking for value to hold or to get a return, it's much more not guaranteed, but stronger than getting younger players and they get hurt, get caught doing something they're not supposed to be doing, i.e., Wander Franco or somebody like that. It's understandable. And my point a couple of weeks ago is like, you don't hear that in college area in football. I've seen a lot more now that I did a show on it. I've been noticing that there are collectors out there in vintage, but I had to look for them, right? Paul, I know, and there's going to be. I like vintage of certain, but it's just like I said, it just seems like vintage baseball something a medal you wear on your chest, where the other sports it's just like, and it's, I know it's tougher and it's not every year like baseball, but I'm not here just to talk about that. Just things I've learned in 2024, the hobby. Um, I've really solidified where I can't collect everything. So I bought one box of baseball cards in 2024. No blasters. I have bought WNBA because I really wanted to get some of the players more than just a few. I kind of wouldn't mind collecting the select set. Just as a novelty of my first year of kind of even paying attention to the WNBA. I bought some Star Wars boxes and things like that. TCG, kind of got into TCG a little bit this year. Let's see. Can we include 90s and vintage, or at least say established, aka not prospecting? Yeah, see, that's my whole, Paul. That's my whole issue with this whole. Where does the vintage line stop? Does it just keep going and going forever? And modern has a short time period? Because 90s ball, there's no. Is there? Let's see. In 2024, I doubt that somebody started playing in 99. They might have. I mean, they would be in their 40s, right? Most likely. That, yeah, I think you can count out prospecting in the 2000 aughts and tens. Really, here we are in 2024. First 5 years in the tens. It's 10 years in. I usually 5 years is kind of my first stepping stone when I start like, okay, I feel comfortable putting in $100 into a card because this player seems like the real deal. 10 years, we kind of know, okay, this is a Hall of Famer or whatever. Yeah, that year, I'm agreeing. I don't know. The risk for me, the risk tolerance is in 2024. I want to say 2010. Your risk is probably gone. You should know 2015 probably. You should know what players in any sport at that point that are in a major level, who they are. And if you're worried about injury, you probably want to wait closer to 10 years than 5 years in baseball and basketball. But football, you kind of got to take that risk reward. I feel like if you're looking for a money value, that the hobby is about value as well. I have recognized that a long time ago. My problem is where we just harp on that. We lose focus on what the hobby is. And again, I was thinking, I do a lot of thinking when I'm, here at the house and turn off everything and just kind of be, when I'm going through cards or whatever. And, today I'm sitting there thinking, how, if all you're doing is just buying cards, selling cards, flipping them, as some would say, not enjoying them in your collection, I feel bad. I always do. You have a different way of hobbying than I do. That's your hobby, or it might be your job. But I feel like you're missing out on the fandom and the hobby itself. And I meant to do this tonight. Bam, there we go. Yeah, I do, Paul. I don't know how to phrase that either, and I do think we need to have some more terms, and I don't want to wait for PSA to dictate what those terms are. I've got another voucher from them for $50. I don't know how many of y'all used to do a lot of PSA, and then have stopped when they started getting stupid with their pricing and how long it took to get things back. But check your email. I'm getting a voucher probably every week, and then they extend it for 3 weeks. Trying to get me to come to do cards, and it's still not reasonable for what I want to use it for. Unless I have something bigger, I might go to PSA. And when I mean bigger, I mean hundreds of dollars. But most of my cards like that I already have graded. So does it seem like PSA is begging us to grade cards now? It kind of does, Battery. It looks like they want the everyday customer back. And I feel like they lost that. If you go back a year, 2 years video where it felt like they were here for the triple patch auto zebra numbered to 2 basketball collector or flipper, that's who they were looking for. They wanted all the $1,000 comma cards, and they can get that out in 2 days. You send and you got to pay an arm and a leg to do that. So you have to, well, you don't have to, but many people have to resell it to make it reasonable while you're doing that, and which I still to this day don't understand how, as a hobby, as a collector, if you want a high-end card graded, charging me thousands of dollars to do it makes any sense whatsoever. The ultra modern crowd is figuring out they can't flip low end in a PSA slab any longer. So the money train is slowing at least somewhat. So they want that dude trying to get the 84 top set again. Yeah, because I'm pretty sure the big cards is nice, but having a backlog of 3-4 months of the cards that nobody understands why you're getting graded, like I get graded, is what keeps the lights on. To know that you have 1 million cards in your backlog is reassuring. When that starts to slow down and stop, we haven't heard a backlog. We haven't heard that they have to bring in a rider truck or U-Haul to get their mail at the post office box, which to me is just, as a company, just doesn't even sound right that they have a PO box and the stuff's not delivered to their company. Just is flabbergasting to me. Also, we haven't heard anything like that for a couple years now. And I think you're right, Paul. I don't know if it's exactly those words, but something's going on there for them to send me coupons. What you do is you lower it for us low hanging fruit guys that want to I want to enjoy my my registries, but I'm not going to sacrifice hobby dollars to do that. I have to make choices, right? So I'd rather send stuff to SGC. I send 7 cards, around $100 worth of cards. I get 3 or 4 for me and 3 and 4 or 4 to sell, because I have to me, that makes more sense to help me recoup some of that money to put back into my hobby. Seems like a lot of folks lately are going with CGC, formerly CSG, for their PC stuff. I'm still an SGC guy. I've used them all, just like it, fast and accurate. Maybe old Joe Orlando knew what he was doing after all, LOL. Yeah, well, I don't know. I don't know how many people are going. I know CGC, their price is right. If you just want to get something slabbed, and I get stuff slabbed. I got an order. I heard them. I had a little rant. Backtracked on a little bit of that because a lot of it was my ignorance again. But a lot of it was true as well. Bobbles just did a thing with them to test their customer service. I haven't had a problem with their customer service. It's just My one problem is, and it's with every company. He made a big deal about it, but uh, every company does this. If your stuff comes in, they're not going to put it in their system until they know it's going to meet their whatever their quote unquote requirement is right now. And CGC does it, SGC does it, PSA does it. You know, they all do this, and it's nerve wracking. You send your stuff down there, and it's got value, and if it doesn't have a monetary value, it has a personal value. That's why it's called per PC. And you want to know what's going on. And it's just, you feel more comfortable when you see it in the system. I'd rather you tell me it's taken 2 months than 1 month and put it in the system. If you're going to sit there, they used to send you an email, and I've gone through this before, but back to CGC. I love CGC. I think they got the best plastic out there, the best holders. I think the price is right. I pay the monthly or the yearly thing for the subscription to get the lowest rate. And I have friends, and I've offered it to my community. I just to send it in and get a good rate. That's basically where I'm at. And I like to have friends because I've talked about this before. All of them have this as well. The shipping back. I put an order in. It cost me $7 to ship it, I think it was. But my shipment back is $35. Let's see. Henry, what's up, Henry? Slab of beef sounds good right now. There you go. I got a TikTok from a friend because I used to, before I moved in this apartment, I smoked a lot. Meats on the grill. I don't smoke in my personal, but it was a ribeye. That thing looked like something off of the Flintstones, and I was just like, holy smokes, look good. But man, I would hate to see the cook on that thing, how long it took. Had to get some water, a little dry mouth. Like I said, it's been raining a lot here. Temperature went up real fast today. Gave me a headache. Crazy day. Yeah, 2024. What's up, man, Jeannie? I'm so glad I don't grade cards. It sounds depressing. I'm not gonna lie. If I'm gonna be addicted to anything in this, which I'm addicted to the hobby, we all have some. If we're here watching this, we have some sort of not addiction, but maybe something that's not normal with other people. Yeah, and then but I do really like having a robust graded card collection. I really do. I don't know. I was in the camp when I first found, like I said, I was late to the game for grading. I thought it was a joke, and now I feel like I'm in on the joke. I don't think it's needed by any means stretch. Oh, okay. But I'm just saying there are people that feel that way, John. Even if you don't, it's a reasonable feel. I've really cut back on what I'm grading, right? Um, hey, and since you're here, I don't know if you watched my Wednesday, Mangini, but man, if you come across any Cochran's where he's actually wearing his mask, I would like to know about that because that's what I'm kind of looking for. Anything with that. Jeff, what's up, brother? You won't be depressed if you have realistic expectations. Yeah, but I don't know. You watch a lot of these people when they're opening their cards, the expectations. I'm like, why don't you start a grading service? That's kind of, someone made a comment today that all cards graded before 2020 should be considered ungraded. You know what? I kind of, whenever SGC really made a run, right, and also now with CGC grading, and then it made PSA up their grading. Now, let's be realistic. Why did a lot of people go to PSA and not SGC? Because PSA is lax. They're still lax when it comes to centering as it to SGC. So my man Fabian posted a card that was a 10 PSA just this week that was all centered. You could just visually look at it and tell it's not a 10, but they don't have a 9.5. So it depends on where they're at in a rounding scale if it's a 10 or not, where the other companies have a 9.5. And then, the other companies have an 11 somehow. But, you know, grading is just, for me, it helps with knowing where I'm at when it comes to, buying. Because, this year, falling in love, back in love with my catchers, Cochran, Campy, knowing now that I need probably a 4 or less in the Bowman Campy is probably where I'm at, for my dollar amount. So that's what I like about it. And I just like the aesthetics of it. It's really nice. And CGC has a great plastic. I do my non-sports because they still have a great reputation in the non-sports world, TCG, all of that. But I don't think, the sports cards are still not quite there yet. They don't have, and all it is they're hoping for PSA 13. Yeah, even God is jealous. Jeez, that's a good one, Jeff. I think, when it comes to the grading process with CGC, I think they got the respect, but people just love that PSA. People started getting into the registry. People that got, the uptick of in the last decade of people, because people started coming back into the hobby, let's be honest, before COVID. If you went to any shows started growing, more shows started popping up. Slower, I think COVID just sped it up, that growth. And when there's all those new people came in, PSA won that war. They were at the right time, right place, right spot with what they were doing. Beckett just fell off at the wrong time. Beckett was the grading company, and PSA went by him, oddly enough, for pricing and speed. SGC copied a formula. CGC had some issues. If they would have started out, I think, where they're at now, instead of 3 times having to change what they're doing, I think they would be in a better spot. But, here we are with what they are. And, if you're reselling, like I said, I use SGC a little bit more because at least SGC has some return on it, right? Where I can feel like I get my money back for getting it graded. So I do have CGC stuff that I'm selling because I thought, here's the problem with getting your PC stuff graded. 5 years later, you find out it's not your PC. Right? So then you just want to offload it because we don't have, I don't know, but one person that, has a huge space, unlimited space for cards. And I think he's even running out of space. I moved in from a house to an apartment. I got rid of 3 more boxes of stuff this past week. I'm always looking to where I can make space, and stuff has to take priority when I start buying more of one thing, and when I have to get rid of something else sometimes to make room. That's how it is. And I don't like using storage. I want my stuff with me. That's why I buy it. I don't have a lot of stuff that I can just stick in. I'm not going to stick my collectibles in storage. if I'm going to do that, I'm just going to get rid of them. That, especially at my age, what good is it in storage? I got rid of 3 boxes, and I got 4 video games, I think, out of it, and a couple of Star Wars figures. 1921 30 die cut shows Cochran with a face mask. Oh, okay. Okay, I'll have to look for that. Thank you. I knew if your group would know, you or your buddies. I was meaning to send out something to y'all. Looks like I'm going to close on a condo in a couple of weeks. Won't be in the Battery any longer. I like living in a small space now. Yeah, I'll never buy a house again. I'm looking at apartments closer to work so I can be closer to home. To cut down on my drive, being here in the city. I don't mind driving in the city and all that. It's just sometimes in the morning, you just want a nice, easy drive at 6 o'clock in the morning. I don't want to be stressful from the drive before I even get to work. My work is not stressful. It can be at times, but most of the time it's not. You just gotta pay attention to what's going on. You have a clear mind when you're there. If not, things can go bad very fast. But congratulations, Battery. I know you've been looking to do that. Me and just let you know, me and Mike again, we're talking about coming down to Atlanta. Definitely will hit you up. We want to go to a game and check out Jeff's place. I might even try to get over to Got Baseball Cards. Is that what it's called? Got Card, whatever. That other guy that's in Atlanta that's got the big shop. I even checked him out for PSA. It just, right now, way PSA is doing bulk, it's not feasible to even do bulk. It doesn't help you. It actually, I think, costs just as much. There's no incentive. My new place will be exactly 1 mile from Truist Park. I'll be walking. Awesome. That is awesome. I live about that from high single A Dash Stadium for the White Sox. And I'm always like, I got to go to games. And I can walk to them, but I'll have to run back home when it's dark. That's the one problem. Between here and there, it's not the safest part of Winston-Salem, I can say the least. Yeah, I need to go to. I have not been to a game. I've been to card shows there, not a game. I've been to games in Greensboro, but not right next door to me. I have 2 couches that pull out. Well, hell, me and Mike, that's good to know. I'll send you my list of foods to eat. But yeah, me and Mike are talking about, we're just trying to find out what games we want to come to and when it's a good time. I think he's going to fly here and then we're driving. That's nice. I'll sleep on the floor, man. The guys for National, I'll sleep in. I don't give a shit. All-Star game was in Atlanta. Oh, no shit. I can't afford All-Star money. I might come when they're playing, like, I don't know, Miami or somebody that I can afford to buy tickets. Because I know they're pricey. But yeah. But what anybody want to throw out what in 2024 something they might have picked up on or something they hopes goes away, or I'm really hoping 2024 again we don't have a time schedule for when cards are released. That's when Mangini's lucky with buying old stuff. It doesn't matter. They've already been released. I've gotten that way. I wish I felt more comfortable buying older stuff online. I can't. I'm nervous with my money getting what I've talked about it. I don't know how many times. I don't mind buying 70s or 80s stuff, right? 90s. But once I get below that, and I'm buying it for, I want to get what I'm paying for, right? Now, when I was buying my Mets set from the 60s. I wasn't really worried about that. I was trying to find the most loved cards that I could possibly get for my binder. And also, I think that's the cool way. I think 60s cards shouldn't be perfect. 50s cards, especially when you're doing a binder like style collection, I think that gives it some, like little taste, a little something. The cards have a story. You want to know what that story is, or maybe we don't. But I don't want them ripped in half, but I don't want them pristine either. Paul, surprised the ultra modern community hasn't caught on to how common their high ends is. After 23-24, I'm way more old man, get off my lawn trying to get super rare stuff or not at all. I am the same way, Paul. I think that it is because you're starting to see prices stall a little bit. I think even come down. I think the realization, especially at the quarterbacks, because when you talk about that, that's all they want to collect. I mean, let's be honest. I mean, quarterbacks are hot one year and gone the next. Your Texas quarterback, he's going to be good, but he's having a rougher year. I think the Commanders quarterback is good. Bo Nix is awesome. I think the Bears quarterback is going to be good. I don't think he's topped out yet. In basketball, same thing. But basketball, longevity, got to stay in shape. The scores are scores. They tend not to go away. Some people have a good season, regress, but scores are scores. This season, I tried picking up Braves team sets of all the new issues. Just wanted to see if it was feasible. Really? Wow. So are you talking base set, Carlisle, or like, oh my gosh. Paul says at least for 100 plus stuff, got to keep it fun. Yeah. I buy mainly from Greg Morris. I splurged on 59 Gibson once and it failed eBay authentication. Yeah. See, that's where I worry about Amari is that type of thing. And that's not a good card. Let's see. It's adorable. You think you just recently became a get off my lawn guy. Hey, Carlos is here. Hi, Carlos. Sam Darnold. Yeah. I'm now buying mid-80s Dale Murphy oddball cards, about $2 each, ship fun on a budget. Yeah, and those 80s, that's a fun. People think of 3 cards, and Eric kind of bust my balls on here a few weeks ago about that. But man, I can remember being a kid and looking on everything, looking for where cards were at, macaroni and cheese, cereal boxes, whatever. And Dale Murphy, God, he needs to get into the hall. Base set and inserts, not parallels. Gotcha. Gosh. See, back in the day, my plan is to catch up to my Mets team set. I keep getting sidetracked because I only got but so much money for the hobby. We talk about this all the time. And then I want to go back and at least get the 80s Don Ross and the 80s Fleer sets because that decade just means so much to me as a baseball fan. 70s for me is where I started realizing players, right? And I knew Orioles and really 80s, me and my friends imitated players. And you started learning, different. I know people learn faster and all that. I got you, Amari. Okay. But, I just, that 80s, man, that's when I turned 81, October 81, I turned 10. Really, really, started loving a sport and the players and the team. At that time I was a Orioles fan learning about a team that was playing and not in our country. And I was so amazed by that. And that's where Gary Carter comes in. The 75 Bopal is one of my favorites. tops, I would imagine. I love the 75 set. 75 set shows you what the 70s was about. That whole double tricolor sides, it makes yeah, it just you know, there were some people watching Puff and Stuff back in the day when they decided to, and the Partridge Family reruns when they decided to do those borders. Because it kind of was out of the, because you'll watch, if you ever really look at the sets, right? A few years in a row, they might go from a block letter to a, kind of a cursive lettering, or they'll change where the picture inside of a picture, or there's a lot of, and it's pretty close. And then all of a sudden it changes, and then they go pretty close. But that 75 kind of stands out alone in the 70s to me. No, I do not. I have no idea. That's one of those sets that just kind of sticks out, and it's kind of funny. And that's where Gary Carter's rookie is, and so still I need that O-Pee-Chee one in a better halfway center. That's my goal. That's every year. I'm always looking for that. What's up, Ray? Retrospect, I'm not sure. I should have tried to put the 72 top set together. Very big high series were brutal. I'm working on a 71. That's one of my lower end things. Graded. Something I started when I first got into grading. But you could find 71 graded stuff so cheap then. It was like $7 to $10 a card. I was picking up by the handfuls at the National, and now I can't. Now it's kind of gone. And I'm born in 71. I did not realize the Black Beauties. I didn't realize that a part of one of the pages, when they cut them, they really cut them bad, which is not a crazy story from that time and age of the cards. You learn as that's the journey. I always talk about the journey. I love when new people come in, and they want to ask you all these questions. Oh, okay, that's Booger. That makes sense. That makes sense. I have a friend that's called Monk because we called him Monkey Boy. He climbed all over everything. It's like he was like an older brother. He's passed now, but yeah, I just feel like, man, I can't reiterate this enough. I got 6 minutes. I got 6 minutes for an hour. I'm kind of gonna stick with that tonight because I'm not had a bad headache. Not feeling well. Just tired. Got to work in the morning. Life goes on. That's me problems, not you problems. The Mangini collection. I'm afraid to learn how he got that. Yeah. 2024 cards. Another great year for me in the community. I count this as just as much a hobby for me as part of my extension of the collecting world. Staying connected with you guys keeps me straight, keeps me knowledgeable on things. I have an easy place to reach out and ask questions. I do. Luckily, I have a great group of friends. We text almost every day. I call it the friend's house or whatever. We got our Airbnb probably within a week after last year's National. So good luck to everybody that's trying to find that. This hobby has been there. I've talked about 100 times, and you guys too. I love this. This is very, I hope I use this term correctly, therapeutic for me on Sunday nights to either rant, just talk, just whatever with people with like-minded. We're all collectors. I don't like the pigeonholing that we like to do to each other and want to put each other in these holes, because I feel like if you see an old card and you like it and you want to buy it, buy it. Who cares? Who cares if you're a modern collector? If you're a modern, a vintage collector and you like a modern guy, buy it, and you want to buy it, buy it. Nobody's telling you. There's no rules to this game. That's what's so fun about this game, and just enjoy it. And if, again, my information's on my about section on YouTube. Be looking for my 2025 room review. Coming up here in the next few weeks. Let's read some of these. Colorado Sports Dude, what's up, brother? Yo, I'm wondering, say in 2025, if people slow the risk down, say on these new QBs or I don't know, opening packs, people are getting basically way taken advantage on. LOL, gotten pretty wild in many ways. Well, I feel like the pricing's here to stay for one reason. The breakers. And I've seen something about breakers ruin this hobby. I think breakers are one of the saviors of this hobby, as much as sometimes it might not sound that way for me, because that's how the stuff gets out in the world. There is a lot of people that are buying product to collect the product now. We've become, it's more and more. We used to, somebody, back in the day, you might buy a box or a blaster or a pack and go, oh, I want to hang on to this for, for the year, for the Topps flagship or whatever. And now we've become collecting this stuff. Me and Joe had a very great debate in the middle of waiting to get into the National last year that we had a lot of eyes on us. I remember that Dr. Exclusive. But it was a great talking, and I learned something from that day. And I can't fault anybody for buying a box of whatever, for whatever reason. If it's your favorite players in that set, or as much as it's hard for me to understand that, it's no rules to this game. So I feel like Colorado, when it comes to that, I think prices are there if that's what you're trying to get at. QBs and stuff like that, there's going to be speculating. There's always, the QB thing has been around now forever. Other guys might be hot, yeah. I think, the QB thing has been around as long as I've been collecting football, and I don't collect football for that reason, because I'm not a QB collector. So it didn't make much sense. And collecting, buying packs and getting even on a team I like, I like the guys in the trenches, man. I'm a big dude. I thought it was therapeutic because it was comforting to be surrounded by more crazy people. Those collectors be crazy. Yep. We talk about that all the time. Did Topps Real 2024 design last year? When will they? That's a good question. Me and some of the guys were talking about that. Yeah, and usually by now you've heard who number one is going to be and who the cover art darling is going to be. I wait for the cover art just so I can, those back pages can have a rant, because I'm sure it's not going to be Bobby Baseball. So Jeff Euclid should be within the first couple of weeks of the new year. Great Wax debate. Amari, I was really hoping 2024 Heritage High number would be out by now, going to interfere with my Series 1. Yeah, and to me, don't bring it out. Have we missed it? I mean, Amari, I know you love buying the hanger boxes and all that, and you do well with it. But if it doesn't come out, will you miss it now? Because like you said, Series 1 bench. I just think we need a reset. Upper Deck seriously needs a reset. Really bad. Pack or box price is probably here to stay for sure, but might change some over. We'll see. Yeah. I'm guessing Wood Grain returns. Yeah, that. No way I'm buying a Bo Nix card. Maybe in 10 years if he's still around. Yeah, the only reason I would is because now he's a hot. But I wouldn't overspend. I wouldn't get a patch auto or something like that. I mean, you can do what you want, but for me, it's just yeah, Bobby Baseball. I just think he gets overlooked in Kansas City. George Brett did. I mean, yeah, he was awesome, but I think more people know him for rushing out a dugout against the Yankees than how great of a ball player he was. Yeah. So, and I mean, I know this year I'm probably, when I'm blacked out from my Mets, I'm probably going to watch the Royals or, when I can see the Royals this year. Man, Arizona picking up Corbin Burns. That's another team that might be very interesting to watch this year. Um, I guess if you're a Yankees fan, you're gonna want to watch the Yankees, but I don't know why. I know a team I want to watch. All right, I can't watch them, but at least I love my Orioles, and I think the Orioles they have done nothing. Me and my dad talked about. Yeah, hey Chris, yeah, I'm pulling for him. I am a I'm the however you say your first baseman's name correctly. I like him as well. I loved him on Team Italy when Piazza was coaching him. Um, but yeah, I think the Royals have something to build on there, and they're going to be fun to watch, especially in that division. That division is going to be so fun. I think Tigers are better. Cleveland. That and I probably just fucked up and named the wrong division. And I think I did. But anyway, I think Pasquatch. There you go. I want to see the Sasquatch running around in the outfield up there. So I'm really excited for this. Me and my dad got that show. I want to plug out real quick. I'm really excited for the season's getting closer and closer. Everything else for me is just filler until baseball comes around. Um, I interested in other sports, of course. As I've gotten older, I just don't have the time to spend as I did as a young man on everything. Thought I had to watch everything. Now I don't feel the same way. I didn't watch any NFL I didn't watch the Cowboys. This team this year, I don't like as a team. As a Cowboy fan, it's very disheartening to watch them. Jerry Jones can go off into the nether regions for all I care. Um, I just this team this year, and I don't care about winning. I do care about winning or losing, but it's not the winning or losing that makes me upset. It's the attitudes. It's the just the team itself and how it's run is really gotten to me this year for whatever reason. I think if Bobby stays healthy for the foreseeable future, he can write him in for 30, 35, yeah, 100 RBIs. Um, yeah, and a gold glove infielder on top of that silver slugger position. He is a star in the league, and MLB needs to do better on pushing stars that are not in the big cities. They've always had a problem with pushing stars, period, or getting better. Players have learned how to push themselves as well on the social media a little bit because they're going to have to do that. WNBA learn from them ladies. You know, I feel like, just great. And then we have playoff football coming up in college and NFL. What do we got? One more week in NFL. And how do you feel about the possibility of Golden? That's Amari. They already said that's not happening. I think that was somebody just talking out loud, and somebody heard him. I think the man fell and hit his head and said this because it. I don't even think little kids in the backyard would have that rule, right? In wiffle ball, Oh, bottom of what the hell? I mean, I was like, because I told them if they came up with that rule, I was like, I'm gonna be watching throwback games and going on YouTube every night and just watching games in the past because I couldn't stomach it. I would not. It's almost like when NFL started changing all the hitting rules, and every time somebody got touched there for a year or two, there was a flag thrown, and I turned the game off in college too. And they kind of players know what they're doing, and you don't see that as much now. So we're used to it. But man, it was tough at first for me. And if it's not enjoyable to me as entertainment, I turn it. I don't click. I don't open baseball boxes because it's not the entertainment value is not there, right? So that's how I do. If it's not there for me, why suffer through it? Why get mad at something I can't change? So, but yeah, I do. I hope that's a good enough rant for the Golden at bat. It's ridiculous. It's a bad thought. The man should not be anywhere close to baseball. If that's good enough for you. But baseball's a strange, we can't have the guys that took the drugs and that saved baseball, but the commissioner who knew that was going on is in the Hall of Fame. So that's how baseball is. We don't have Pete Rose in because of a guy that, person, and we lost a lot. We lost a lot of people in our sports world this year. This was a year for great losses. But we did get to remember a lot of great players and a lot of great names. And, we lost Gumbel this week. That's a voice of a lot of us growing up. We heard him all the time. Olympics, tennis, golf. He was everywhere. And, NCAA. That's a big name there, and that's gone. Makes me feel because I'm trying to remember a time, when I didn't hear him on the big games, so at the big events. So I want to end that here. Enough rambling and talking, and again, thank y'all for stopping by. On the way out, please hit the like button. Enjoy the rest of this 2024. Please be safe out there. There's a lot of rookies on the road on the 31st into the 1st. Please be careful. Love one another. Man, if you drink, please just stay where you're at or get an Uber. Because I want to see y'all next week. I want to see y'all on Thursday. And with that, thank you, Jeff. I will see ya.